Market research is a key component that we need to be mindful of before starting our new businesses. And of course, as we said in the past video, that many of us ignore this aspect of business and we just dive into the businesses, and then we find challenges that make us fall out of business even before we complete 1 year. I'm Godfrey Kasozi, and today I'm back to continue with market research. Whenever you neglect market research, you will get consequences, really very bad consequences. You can watch the past video if you did not watch it, so that you know how I am building on this. Of course, it means that you don't know the needs of your customers. You don't know the preferences of your customers. So you end up starting the business and replicating all the bad things that are already in that business. What does that mean? That you will start giving customers products that are not on demand or of little demand, because you have not gone into to research the preferences. And every business has those small nitty-gritties which you might not know if you don't go into research. You have not researched into the strengths and weaknesses of your competitors, so you'll also start producing things or services that have the same weaknesses. And when the customers come to buy, they will say, after all, this is everywhere. It is the same poor story all over the place. And you are new, so why should they buy from you, yet you have the same problems? So, strengths, you have not bothered to see how strong your competitors are, so that you also be strong in that area. You have not bothered to know how big the market is. Sometimes it might be so clogged and so packed, so crowded. You also go into there and eventually you don't sell. Let me give you examples of how to deal with some of these things. An example: weaknesses. Let us start with weaknesses. If you research very well about weaknesses, you can go an extra mile in being innovative, so that you don't replicate that same weakness when you start your business. Let me give you an example. We had a gentleman, I don't know where he is these days, in Entebbe. He used to sell chigere molokonyi. That is cow hooves, boiled cow hooves. And he used to sell them on a motorcycle. I guess he had studied a weakness in that business. I guess he discovered that most of his competitors are stationed in one place. Because of the nature of cow hooves, molokoni, because of the nature of that business, it has to be hot all the time. It should not cool, which is very difficult to maintain on a motorcycle. So most of his competitors were stationed in one place and customers had to go there. So he became innovative, started riding his chigere on a motorcycle, carrying it on in a big saucepan, which was on the carrier of the motorcycle. And you know what? Whenever you would look into that man's container, the chigere was boiling. And you would wonder how he would do that. So he had innovated. He was trying to fight that weakness of being stationary. So he would move around in his motorcycle. The chigere is boiling on the carrier of his motorcycle. We literally would see it boiling. and he would sell. Later, he graduated to a small car, and he would move all over Entebbe, and I think even beyond, in a small car. And you would look into the saucepan inside his car, and the soup was boiling. So he had fought the weakness of being stationary in one place. One time, this gentleman told me that he one time went to botanical gardens to sell his chigere. There was a motor rally in the botanical gardens. They used to call it circuit. Very many people would go there from Entebbe, near Entebbe, and from even Kampala. He took his chigere there, and he started selling it at 3,500. And he was the only mobile chigere seller. Within no time, the whole saucepan was done. He sent for more from his people. He raised the price to 5,000. Within no time, it was done, finished. And he had no more chigere to sell. And he told me that I wish I had sold it even at 10,000. They would consume it. So, what are the consequences of not doing market research? You bring products that are not on demand, on good demand, because you have not studied the preferences and the needs of your customers. You start doing bad pricing decisions. You fail to adapt to the market. In the end, you are frustrated after putting in a lot of your money, and the things are not being bought. How do you do market research? I know many of you are going to ask this question. How do we do market research? You don't need to be very sophisticated to do market research. No. If you're sophisticated, please put in more capital and get experts and do the research. But if you are not, you can do the research by yourself. Survey around, interview people by word of mouth. Some people are not that selfish. They will tell you. Some people may not fear your competition. They might be doing it from far away, from Mukono, far away. Do interviews. Go online and also research online. These days, selfishness is gone. If people don't want to tell you, go online. There is everything. Go on YouTube. You will find people who are doing the same, and they freely give knowledge. So please, do market research. If you still have any small doubts, send me an inbox message of what clarification you want, and I will be glad to help you out. Today, I think that is enough about market research. There has been more of emphasis. Let me bid you farewell by, as usual, my parting shot. Not necessarily, of course, as usual, related to the main subject. Today, I want to talk about something called a mumbwa. Mumbwa. It is a mixture of local herbs which are put together and molded in clay and I think a bit of salt, and in a shape of somewhat like a sausage or a cucumber, a mumbwa. I had a lecturer who disliked the mumbwa so much. I think because in his region where he grew, it was not there. And one of the reasons he used to give me was that, how can one thing treat all sorts of diseases, unrelated diseases? The same mumbwa treating malaria, the same is treating typhoid, it is treating epilepsy, the same thing is treating gonorrhea, same thing is treating syphilis. One medicine, how can it treat all those sorts of diseases? So for him, he used to call it a sham. He used to call it a scam. And one time when he was seated in a bus going to his village, these guys, mumbwa guys, would come into those buses and sing, they recite like a poem, all the sorts of diseases, this and this, that and that, including people who didn't do certain things that it can also, it's not too late, it can help them do them and the like. So one time a man enters the bus, as this lecturer of mine is seated on his seat in the bus. A man comes and sings all those sorts of things that the mumbwa treats. So he came to my lecturer and told him, Muzei, he gave him a price which I don't remember, but I will use a hypothetical price. Kasam for 7,000. So my lecturer, because he hated that thing so much and he detested it so much, the mumbwa, he did not do much. What he did, he tried to cut the price. Kasamvu, he told him, Ninanku mibiri. He told him, I have 2,000 shillings. So the hawker kept on telling him, Muzei, that is too little. Okay, make it 6,500. Let me reduce 500 shillings for you. He said, Ninanku mibiri. If you don't want 2,000, go away, please. Okay, give me 6,000. He kept on reducing until he reduced up to 4,000, and my lecturer had stuck on his 2,000. So the offer being so small, the man decided to walk away. He walked away towards the exit of the bus, then suddenly did an about turn and came back to my lecturer and told him, Muzei, Sasura, pay, give me the 2,000. My man was now defeated in his own game. He thought he had been so smart. The man told him Sasura. And my lecturer, being a very proud man who did not want to show any weaknesses, he did not want to show that he was just joking and the like, reached his pocket, pulled out 2,000 and paid the money in a lot of anger, but he didn't show the anger on the face. When the bus reached his destination, he moved out with a lot of defeat and anger, took out the mumbwa and threw it in the bush and walked away. What am I trying to say? That please don't underestimate hawkers. The price the hawker tells you, you might think you are undercutting his price, and yet you are actually telling him the real price that he wants to get from you, which even has profits within it. So, bye-bye. Please think about that. And also my curiosity, do these mumbwas treat all those medicines? Well, sleep over that and give me your opinion, if you will. Watch, like, and subscribe to the channel. We meet again next time, and bye-bye.